Good, right? Those two big guys, man.
To our
job.
left, Coach, up against the wall.
Hey, Coach. Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. The commissioner mentioned as the league and everyone transitioned to the college football playoff from the BCS that you spoke about the need to step up, to win big games, to schedule a tough non-conference. What do you recall about that, and how do you think that kind of that rallying cry has been answered?
If I remember correctly, that was probably maybe 5 or 6 years ago or so. But we were just, we were talking about scheduling and things like that. And my message was, listen, we got to go play people, and we got to beat them. The only way we're going to change the storylines that, 5, 6, 7 years ago, the storylines were always the same about this league. And there's no sense in complaining about it. Let's go. If we want to change it, we got to go play people and got to beat them. And when we do that, then got to start writing something different. And that's really was kind of what I said at that time. And I think that we've been able to do that. And even this year, if you look at this league, there's one conference that had a winning record versus Power 5 teams, the ACC. One conference had a winning record versus ranked teams, the ACC. We had 11 bowl teams. We were 10-4 versus the SEC. There's a reason why we have played so well. We've won 5 bowl games in a row, and it's not because I'm some great coach. I got a good staff and all that. We've had good players. It's what we practice against every day, and it's what we play in against week in and week out. And so when we've gotten to postseason, we've not been overwhelmed. We've been able to match up. And but you can't just do that one time. Nobody's going to really give you credit for that. It's the consistency over the last several years that I think really speaks the loudest, because we've been incredibly consistent in a lot of areas. We've won a bunch of big games as a conference, certainly as a program, but as a conference. And I don't think this league's ever been better. It's the deepest it's ever been. Incredible coaches in this league. Really, really good coaches. And every single week, you better come to play. And then it's the same. And for us, you better show up to practice. If you're Crowder and you're going to have to block Christian Wilkins in practice, you better show up. Otherwise, you're going to get exposed. And that's good for us as a program. And then also to be able to show up on game day and play a quality team from this league, I think is the reason why we've been so successful in the postseason.
Coach, to your right, second row.
Over here, Coach Bob Holliday, WRL.com. Dave Clawson talked about playing in the best division in the best conference. You and Florida State have occupied the penthouse now for about 8 or 9 years. Do you see the other schools in your division moving to higher ground, getting closer to the penthouse? Do you think we see crazy upsets in the Coastal? Is that day coming in the Atlantic? I know you hope not, but is that a possibility?
Well, it ain't real far from the penthouse to the outhouse, I can tell you that. We all know that. It's a few plays here and there. And that's really where this league is. But in particular, if you're going to speak about our division, I have great respect for the coaches and the teams in our division. It is incredibly difficult. Yes, I guess since I've been in the league, or since I've been the head coach, it's either been us or Florida State representing the Atlantic. But man, Louisville, the type of team that they are, NC State, really good, talented football team. I know they got a bunch of seniors back this year. I think Dave Clawson's done an incredible job at Wake Forest and rebuilding them and reestablishing their program and getting them to a bowl game last year. He's done a great job. So this division is tough. Boston College, man, you talk about a tough, hard-nosed, physical football team that you're going to see when you line up to play Boston College. And then, with Syracuse and Dino, what a great football coach he is. So good for our league. It's not going to take him long to get Syracuse where they want to be as a program. You just mark that down. They're a very, very difficult team to prepare for and play against. So it's a strong league division from top to bottom. Obviously, Florida State in what they are year in and year out. But again, I think that's what we want. We want to be a great league, and I think all of us coaches take pride in that. And we all, Jimbo would tell you the same thing. It's a real fine line, and that competitive balance in our division has grown tighter and tighter every year.
Coach, slight left off the aisle towards the back.
Hey, Coach. Jeff Gravely, WRL-TV in Raleigh. Guy we covered a lot in high school, Dexter Lawrence. Some have said when he's ready to become draft eligible, he could be the #1 overall pick. Do you agree? And where have you seen his growth as a football player from the time he stepped on campus? And I'm not talking about girth.
Well, fortunately, he hadn't grown much girth. He showed up big. I've had some guys leave our program that looked like him, but I hadn't had many show up that looked like him. Just a very gifted young person. He's been at Clemson for right at 1 year now. He came about this time last year for the second summer session, and he's been incredibly impactful since he got there. He's a great young man, first of all. I mean, just has a great spirit to him. Doesn't say a whole lot, but has a very fun personality, and just went to work and competed, and shoot, he made an impact game one at Auburn with some big plays. But I've never seen a guy that size move like him. When Christian showed up, Christian was kind of wow, this guy's different too. But Christian wasn't 340 pounds. This is a 340-pound man. I think he was about 19% body fat when he first got there. So benched 225. I think when he showed up, he was about 30 reps. And so pretty good starting point that we had to go to work with. And Coach Batts and our strength staff and our nutrition staff, they've done an unbelievable job of taking him from there. But he had a great first year, and his teammates love him. Having he and Christian inside gives us a dynamic duo for sure, and so hopefully the good Lord will keep those guys healthy, because if they're healthy for the course of this season, we're going to be tough in the trenches. There's no doubt about it, because both of them have good football IQs. That's the other thing about Dexter. Very, very smart, very coachable, corrects his mistakes, and plays with a great motor. He's a guy that has a high care for his performance. And I give Christian a lot of credit because, he had something to kind of look at when he got there, because Christian had kind of already paved that way for him, and Christian's a worker. He's out there after practice every day. He practices hard. He's a coachable kid. He's not a guy that's going to pick his spots. He's going to bring it every day. He's going to compete. And I think that was a good example coming in for a young guy like Dexter to kind of see. And so great freshman year. He's played 15 games, so he's kind of a sophomore and a half, if you will, to this point, and expect big things from him this year, and also an honor roll student.
Coach, very back of the room, camera stand. He's got his hand up in the air.
Mitch Brown from Norfolk in Virginia, or WTKR in Norfolk and Virginia Beach. You just talked a lot about your defensive line. Can you just talk about Jordan Williams, guy from Virginia Beach who's coming in? What do you expect for him to learn from some of these older guys, and also what do you expect for him to bring to this defensive line?
Yeah, we're really excited about Jordan. We signed 2 D linemen, he and Justin Foster from up here in North Carolina. Excited about both of these young men. I was actually just talking to Christian about Jordan last night on the plane. Christian was just kind of telling me how impressed he was with those freshmen. And Jordan was well coached, well prepared, and he's one of those guys. Obviously, I haven't been on the field with him yet, but one of those guys that's going to get a real opportunity early. We're going to be talented, but young in our depth at defensive end, and he's a guy that I think will have a chance to fill in. But just listening to Christian last night talk about him, sounds like he's going to be a guy that we're going to be excited about when we get on the practice field with him.
We're going to see if we can squeeze in 3 more questions in about 7 minutes. We're going to go to our left, second row.
Hey, Dabo, Rick Bonnell. Jeff was talking in Tampa about how gratifying it was that it had gotten to a point where high school coaches of quality kids were approaching y'all. Could you talk a little about how the recruiting process has changed over the last few years and the houses you get into now and the way that Clemson football might be perceived along the trail differently than it might have 5 or 7 years ago?
It's changed a lot. I had to beg Taj Boyd to let me come see him, try to just get in his house and try to lay out a vision for what we were wanting to build at Clemson. Whereas now, as our brand has grown and we've had success, we're going to at least get a conversation. They're going to at least take the call, or we're going to get in the school, or they're going to come and see us, and so that's really helped us a ton because we've got a special place there, and when people come and visit, it sells itself. That's the biggest thing. If we can get guys on campus, we know that we're going to get our fair share of the right guys. So that's been the biggest change. Is a lot of people, not only do they take our call or we get the visit, a lot of people are calling us. We have young men from all over the country now that would have never called us